Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to show you a mass witch strategy for a couple of different bases. So, look at the composition: 12 witches, 4 healers, handful of whiz, handful of wall breakers. And the idea is basically to take your heroes and clean out the edges, and that funnels your witches straight into the core. And preferably, you need to or want to have a single target inferno in there, at least one, or both. I think I've tried it with two multi-target infernos and it did okay. I think I two-starred, but what this is gonna do is be a three-star strategy for a lot of these bases. Okay, so start with your queen goes in here and with the healers, and she's responsible for everything this direction. Mostly, what you're looking for is to get rid of that splash damage right there. Okay. And then your king and a golem comes in up here, wall break in, and he's going to come and venture up this way. Back him up with a few wizards because he won't be able to get into this compartment very easy. And it's nice to have them clean that up before the raid's really over. So once you do that, witches here, 2 jump spells, 1 here and 1 here. That's the idea anyway. As the witches work their way into here, you probably want to rage somewhere in this area, and if not there, somewhere in the core. And then you're going to freeze, obviously, the multi. I try to get the multi and the clan castle together whenever I'm raiding, period, but it doesn't always happen that way. So once that happens, it's pretty much just cleanup, and I want you guys to see how this all plays out. Alright, let me hide fly sketch real quick, and I'll show you guys the replay. Okay, so let's watch the replay. First, the queen's going to go down at the bottom with the healers, as planned. She should end up taking mostly no damage from any of this down here, but we'll see. I don't really remember. Also, I'm going to send my king with his golem at the top. I have a golem and a giant in the clan castle for a little extra tanking for him. And remember, the only job of the heroes is to distract the splash or take it out and create a funnel for the witches so that they can overwhelm the core. So now I send my witches down with a few wizards to help them push through some of those storages, and everything in the core has high hit points. You know, the expos, the inferno, yada yada. I go ahead and rage them. It looks like there's no clan castle in the CC, so that's a bonus. And I didn't plan on it, but the golem kind of wandered into there, so that probably helped my witches out quite a bit. But yeah, the king is up top doing his thing. Wizard kind of wandered up there to help him clear that compartment that he can't get into at the very top. But it's pretty much systematic. You know, and the witches take out the core, and the heroes clean up everything else around the outside. Because the core is focused on the witches, the heroes aren't taking a whole lot of fire. And the queen has healers, she's still at full health. The king, I mean, look how much health he has. He really hasn't seen a whole lot of action. It's mostly splash damage that was shooting at him. So I jumped the troops in the core out of the core, unfortunately into a giant bomb. But most of the witches live, and everything's going through. But to be honest, even if the witches had died from that giant bomb, this would have been a 3-star regardless. Maybe if the time ran out, you know, a high percentage 2-star. But yeah, so everything for this raid went according to plan, and it was really nice. Now the next one is another really popular box base, and I thought I'd give it a go because it has pretty low level walls, but other than that, I think it's max. Yeah, it is max defenses. But I sent him in on these 2 corners to the north and to the west, and this raid made me think I could do this to a similar war base in a war we had, and I fail my wall breakers and I lose the raid completely. I get a 0-star. It's really ugly. I might slip that into this video and I might not. But yeah, the queen went for a walk around the outside and didn't clear any of the splash damage, so yeah, my witches got wrecked. But in this one, she goes in. I didn't fail my wall breakers entirely. It was a semi-fail, but she broke in anyways and took out the splash. Then the king at the top, he's going to work his way down and he's at least got the splash damage distracted, so I feel comfortable putting my witches down. The mistake I make is I put the witches down first, and that archer tower kills one right away. Uh, that's not a huge problem, but it could have been a huge problem, and I just got lucky that it wasn't. I didn't need the extra skeletons to force its way through the core. So anyways, I jump to the core. I get all my troops going. I did panic a little with my queen having to use her ability and a rage spell. That was Panic City, and I shouldn't have done that. And it's going to affect the 3-star capability of this attack. But anyway, I end up having to freeze the single target Inferno because it locks onto the queen because she wandered in too close to the middle without Witch's support. Everything's going decent though. It's looking like I'm at least going to get 1 star, probably 2. The king's almost at full health down there at the bottom, or I would say, 2/3 health, a little more than half, something like that. Which is pretty impressive because we're about 2 minutes into this raid and, he's hardly taking any damage. Oh, actually I used his ability. Maybe that's why his health is so high. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted. The dogs are over here doing something. Anyway, so the queen goes down to the Inferno, and that's because I had to use that rage to save her. That was the panic rage. Anyway, let's see the SketchUp for this last raid because it's another base pretty much designed for this attack. Okay, so now looking at this base, we're going to do something pretty much as similar as it could possibly be to the other one. I feel like I see a lot of this base these days, and this is pretty much a perfect 3-star strategy. Now this base is weak in the fact that it has 2 single target Infernos, which is stupid. But in his defense, I guess a lot of people aren't really rolling 12 witches deep in matchmaking. But anyway, the idea is queen up here. She's going to come this direction and at least get the attention of this mortar if she doesn't take it out. But gets this wizard tower and moves this direction. And then the king goes down here in this way, and he's going to take out everything over here. Most importantly, these 2 splash damage. And he's also going to get the attention of, a lot of these defenses in around this area here. And that funnels the witches to come straight this way, which is 2 jump spells. And the nice thing about this too is that you're using all your spells for your kill squad, I guess, your main attacking force of witches. So anyway, that's that, and we'll see how it plays out. Okay, so here's the raid. Queen goes in at the top with the healers, and king goes in at the east with the golem. Now, I'm waiting a little bit because if I put the wall breakers right away, they're just going to open up that little baby compartment, and that's not what I want. So once they have the attention of the splash damage, I put the witches in just to help support the heroes because I don't want them taking a lot of fire. So now I got the wall breakers down the queen and king side. They're broken in. Witches are going through. Everything's going pretty much smooth right now, although it looks kind of scary at this point because the witches are kind of wandering off towards the king down there. I go ahead and freeze one of the Infernos and let the troops into the core. Luckily too that this base, like I said, has 2 single target Infernos, and that really helps me a lot. I'm working everything around. I had to use the queen's ability. She was getting a little low on health, but it is looking pretty good. The king is also looking low on health because defenses are targeting him instead of that golem. But my witches in the core are just about all the way through, and now they're just going to have to break their way outside the core, which isn't going to be a problem. Even if it was max walls, it still would have been just fine. Although the mortar is kind of raining hell on them right now, the queen is going to get over there eventually, and I think had the raid fizzled out there for the witches, the queen would have had a really good chance at still 3-starring this on her own, because there's nothing really left to hurt her, and all of those healers are still alive. So right now they're healing the witches, which is, I guess, helpful because those witches are providing tons of tanks for themselves and for the queen. So everything's just kind of going through, and there's nothing I can do with the at this point in the raid, I'm just kind of a spectator now and hoping and praying that there's enough time that everything gets cleared up. But yeah, this raid surprisingly really powerful. Witches are really hard to use if you're not used to the fragility of them. You know, you've really got to make sure you take care of all the splash damage, otherwise your raid's going to be a heartbreaking fail. But if you can funnel them like this and you find the right kind of base, it really does well even with baby level heroes. So yeah, as this raid finishes up, I'm out. I'll catch you guys later.